Hello YouTube, it is Damien. It's the Bull and Roo. It's episode 7 of the Bull and Roo, and today is a very special episode. It marks our first ever competitive game as Mcarthur manager. We are finally here after 2 seasons and something like, a long time of scouting players and getting a squad together and everything like that. We have finally got ourselves our first competitive fixture. I think the first thing we will do is obviously recap what's been going on in the friendlies. As you can see, our friendlies have been playing against NPL sort of clubs like Sydney FC, Sydney Olympic, who are an NPL New South Wales club. Wollongong as well. Rochdale City is also, I think, in the NPL, and we pumped them, which was nice. And then, we've also played a couple of non-professional sides, a couple of amateur teams around in Sydney, Western Concord. Bankstown, I think, is also one. I'm from Adelaide, so I'm not 100% sure if we were Adelaide United, I would know exactly what team is what, but this is pretty cool, and we've built our own squad from scratch, something I've never done before in FM, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind. And there's a couple of things that will be happening in today's episode that is just showing that we have built our own squad, and I wasn't 100% sure what's been going on fixture-wise as well. But we'll get to that as well. While we're quickly here, we'll touch on the Australia job quickly. We're obviously into the qualifying group. We didn't start our best, actually. We drew Lebanon 0-0. We then beat Saudi Arabia 2-0 in a game. We pumped Lebanon. We pumped Saudi Arabia. This episode's not about Australia. We do actually have probably the most important game in the group coming up next. We do have South Korea away. But I don't think I'll show you that one there. I don't want episodes becoming way too close and too much overlap. So I'll show you maybe a South Korea game when we play them at home a bit later in the group as well. But we're here with Australia. We're here with Mcarthur. And look, it has been a long time coming for this. We've obviously been simming since July of last year. And that has created some problems in the database in itself. As you guys would have known in episodes past, Tommy Orr is someone that was joining Mcarthur on a free at the end of his contract. His contract expired in June, for whatever reason, June 30th, so he was coming in on July the 1st. By that stage, we haven't had our fixtures with Mcarthur yet, and that created some problems signing some players. So that meant that when he tried to join the game as a designated player for Mcarthur, the game, because that's the rules here in Australia, wouldn't let me because it said Mcarthur aren't an A-League team and can't sign designated players. I was like, okay. It automatically released Tommy Orr, which was not great, and he obviously would have been a starting player for us. So in the end, he's now gone to Toulouse playing League One. So that kind of shows you the kind of play we missed, and we did build a 4-4-2 around having Tommy Orr, and then to not have him was not great. In terms of everything else, though, in the squad, we do look okay, and there's obviously some players that have come in. By having that ability not to sign players on designated players till I think it was July 27th, which we got the fixtures for the A-League, and we were actually included as an A-League team in the game, in the database, I wasn't able to sign designated players till then. I've also not been able to sign certain players as designated players. Some players have been able to give a designated contract to, and those players I did not actually want as designated players. And some of the bigger boys that I have kind of gone in to sign, I have not been able to give designated contracts as well. I think it's also important to look at the finances. I've spent all the money. We had wage budget, transfer budgets that moved around. When we weren't in the A-League, we were actually given $2 million to spend because we didn't have a salary cap to adhere to. As soon as we got given our salary cap and that, we had 490 odd K that we could spend. That roughly moved from 300 to 400 depending on what I did with the budgets. And obviously, A-League's club can only spend 36,000 wage per season on players that aren't designated players or rookies or players that aren't mature rookies. They don't count to the wage bill in the salary cap. So roughly our wage budget was roughly what we had to spend anyway. And we're currently spending pretty close to the max. So we kind of went big. I wasn't going to go big. A couple of players came up late in our window. Our window just closed in Australia. I actually think it's actually open. Might still be open till late October. But yeah, we also can sign, if we sign a free agent, for instance, right now, we can register them in at any time, which I think is pretty cool. But I am going to start with what we did. As you can see here, there is players that we have signed, a lot of them. I'm going to just turn my webcam off here for this. This episode is going to be a lot of talking about who we signed, what the squad looks like. I'll then show you the team and the tactic, and then we'll get into game against Melbourne. This one's going to be quite podcasty. This one is going to be quite lengthy in terms of an episode length. I'm just going to do it in order here, so you guys can kind of see who we signed first. First person of note is Mate Deganzic. He probably will play for us today. Mate is someone that, when we signed him, obviously back when we were scouting, without being an A-League club, every single player was considered a star player for us because they had no league to kind of go and be ranked against. Matt Gaines, it's obviously is someone that now on paper that you look at him isn't 100%. Someone that is going to be probably playing right mid and isn't like the greatest player. The reason we picked him up is he did play Adelaide United and Melbourne City for a long while, and then Victory too. So someone that has got A-League experience and look can play a number of positions, which when I was building the team was under the impression that the A-League still had to have 5 players on the bench, with 1 being a goalkeeper, 4 substitutes. It's now just recently changed for this season to 7. Did not know that. So I was buying people that were very versatile. In the end, we didn't have to do that so much. The game's just there. Sean was a mistake. We actually just released him to provide room for the squad. We've actually got a full squad of 20. Dominic Rossi is another one. Yet again, I was buying for versatility and then realised that he wasn't that great. Claudio Testoni, someone we will speak about today when we get into today's game, but is a 17-year-old that was 16 regened as a free agent in the game and was playing for the under-19s. He's been capped at the 19s level, has also just been called up for the Asian Cup with the 19s as well, and he won't be back for a while, which does hurt us. So he won't be back to the 11th, the 2nd of the 11th, so about a month, just over a month. His determination has actually gone rapidly from 11 to 14, which is superb. He's physically waning, but his technicals, though, for an Australian goalkeeper are really good. If we can get him physically growing, I think he would actually be a decent keeper. If he hits this potential, he'd be a decent A-League goalkeeper. So to pick him up as a free and be a backup keeper, he counts as one of the under-22s on the bench, not a bad thing. Andrew Hunter, I did stuff up the things with Andrew because he's the same as Testoni. He's now gone to Sydney. You can see why. He's sort of decent, sort of not. Had him on a youth contract, but he wanted to be a full-time contract. And I was like, okay, sure. And then didn't register him in the squad. And when you do that in Australia, that automatically release the players. So, Matt McKay is going to be your vice-captain and probably your captain for most games. He's declining rapidly, the 37-year-old, but just look how good he is. When we signed him, he actually had 13 pace, so he's gone down a lot. He's got 18 natural fitness, though. He's been around the block and still a very good A-League player. Brisbane Roar was there for a long time, has been to Rangers and been in and around China and South Korea. Someone that's been there and done it all. Someone that can also play out wide, can play here, and can play in some areas to fill in. He's just very good at what he does, and physically isn't the worst for the A-League as well. The A-League doesn't have generally the most physical of player, but obviously McKay's pretty good. We then got Joshua Wynn. He's going to be your starting right back. I just think for what we need from right back, he does the job. Like, he's got decent tackling, he's got decent work rate, good determination, decent physicals for the level. The 27-year-old for me would be my starting right back, with Cameron Watson providing cover when we get to Cameron Watson. Obviously, he's been in and around the A-League and playing in and around the NPL clubs on bigger money in the NPL. So he's at Lions FC, which was in Queensland. He's been at Bentley Greens as well, which is in Victoria. A couple of the bigger clubs in NPL. You go play in the FFA Cup, you'll see some of those clubs playing against us. Obviously, he's not bad. Kieran Walters, usually under 20 signing, just so we had some under 20 players. They don't need to be registered, which is good, and they don't count towards your 20 player limit. You can't have more than a 20 player limit. I'll show you maybe quickly. As you can see here, if you go to here on the A-League, you can only have a maximum squad of 20 free, and you have to have a maximum of 20 players that are 20 years old or older. Obviously, we didn't have any designated players because it wouldn't let me offer for them, which is strange, and you need to have 2 goalkeepers. And players on domestic contracts under 21 do not have to be signed. So it's important to keep people on youth contracts for as long as possible. He wanted a full-time contract at the time. I did give it to him, Mr. Walters, because he was going to be a backup for me. He's kind of grown out of that. He is someone that with game time could become semi-decent for us, and if he hits that potential, could be decent. Could also be a sellable asset as well. Jonathan was an under-19. We've given him a full-time contract. If I do want to bring someone else in, Jonathan will be the one that misses out. Physically not too bad, but would be playing in the 19s mainly. Big John was not called Big John. We've just affectionately called him because Juan Corajón. He's also Finnish. Has played under-19s for Australia, was in the under-19 squad on a free, signed him up. He's actually scored a really good goal in pre-season, and I will admit we've been playing amateurs, but he's got 8 goals in 10 appearances in pre-season. It's not a bad return. Bartolo Rossi, it's Bartolomeo, but Bartolo sounds so much better as an Italian. Bartolo Rossi is an Italian-Australian that was also playing in the 19s, and this is one of our hot prospects. Up until I signed someone else on Regen Day, we've had Regen Day, it wasn't the best Regens for ourselves. I picked this guy up in the 19s, and he is just sensational for what you need in the A-League. Someone who's physically quick, someone who can rip a ball in with 10 crossing that will grow, and someone that has the potential to become quite the A-League player. I don't think this guy will play for Australia for me, but I do think that with that potential, this guy could be here for a long while, and players that are here for 5 or more years don't count their full wage towards the salary in Australia, which I think is really cool. So if he's here for the next 6 years, when we're in a World Cup year, he will definitely not be counting towards the full wage. Pretty cool. Angus also another 19 on a youth contract, not a problem. Jackson Hart on a youth contract as well to boss up the 19s, which is great. Cade as well, same thing, youth contract, under 19s, capped at the 19 level. And the last player that we signed last season, before this season clicked over as an option, is Diogo Vieira. Now, Diogo is on low wage, but actually has got very good value for someone that's only 2-star. Has been in and around a lot of clubs. You can see Melbourne Victory, was at Porto once upon a time as well, Brisbane Roar, Perth Glory, and then has just been in and around Australia's NPL. The reason I signed him is because he can play ball-playing defender, can play in the middle, can play at centre defensive, and can play right back. We are playing 4-4-2 this year at the moment, but we could morph into a 4-3-3. And he does just provide cover everywhere. So that's everyone we signed in Season 1. Season 2, though, is where we sign the most. And I am just going to go in order of how we signed him so I can tell the story of how the squad changed and how it went from, okay, now we've got money to spend to whatever. And yeah, Chris obviously is someone that has been in and around the A-League, someone that people may know from his time at Sydney FC. He also was a Mess boy, so for those that know my old save on YouTube was Mess, obviously. He's been in and around the NPL level. The reason I picked him up is A, he can take a free kick, and we don't have many of them. B, he's got high work rate, high determination, and I think players like that in the A-League that are still decently physical, which he is, are always worth their weight in gold. You know, the A-League isn't a level where the technicals will shine the most. It's a level where if you've got good work rate, good determination, good physicals, you'll be okay. So as a backup player, not too bad. He's also running the show in pre-season as well, so you will see him come off the bench as well. Nathan Konstantopoulos, I've seen play in real life. He's come from Adelaide City, was released by Adelaide United. I actually think this guy, in terms of like NPL in South Australia, is one of those players that deserve to play in the A-League. He's having a really good year. I do think this year in the NPL. He was having a really good year though in game at a 7.44 in the NPL. Has been released by Adelaide United a couple times now, and Brisbane Roar. He's always that player that he goes and plays in the NPL and shines, goes to the A-League, never gets an opportunity because he's just not at that level. He's definitely someone with players going away on international duty, players with injury. He's probably your 4th choice centre mid. Definitely will give him game time and hope Nathan will grow. Cameron Watson is an Adelaide United legend, and being an Adelaide United fan, know him very well, was very happy when he was on a free from Moorland Zebras. Someone that's played at the level very well, someone that can play naturally at right wing, at centre mid, centre back, and Adelaide United used him a lot as a right back, so I'll use him there too as a backup right back as well. I think he could do a job. Brian Brand literally signed as the 4th choice centre back because he's 197 centimetres and 104 kilos, and one of the lads in my Twitch chat went to school with him, so I decided to pick him up. I actually think he's half decent. Good determination, good jumping reach, good strength. Can't run, but bring him on the bench. Big boy, defending a lead, get him out there, not a problem. It's just someone that's just going to be a bit of a mercenary for me. Tendo Valapi is going to be your first choice keeper for the year for now. I could have maybe signed a better keeper. He is definitely someone we're going to talk about. We have a bit of a keeper crisis at the moment for the start of this season. Someone that's been around at Perth Glory, Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. He's played a lot in A-League. He's become more of a backup keeper now, but to come in, he's still got the determination and the technicals of a good goalkeeper for the level. Physically starting the wane. I just think for the year, the board expect us to finish bottom. We'll get to that too in this episode. It is going to be a longer episode. I do think Tendo Valapi is going to be quite the player for us for now, and then we can see what we do. Luke De Vries was released, and I couldn't believe he was released by Wellington. He had a great year at Wellington last year, made the final and lost. He obviously was really good last year. Melbourne City won the A-League as well. They were champions. Wellington finished second. They played in the final, and it was a crazy final, so we finished 3-2. But Luke De Vries was on the losing side, and he came and joined us on a free. He looks pretty decent. He's very mentally very good, physically pretty decent for the level. 10 pace is good enough in the A-League. Ideally, I'd like some people to be a bit quicker. His centre-back partner is someone that is sensational as well, and one of the few people we spent money on, and we'll get to him. But Luke De Vries, very good, very important, been around the level, very good in terms of his star rating. He's played at Brisbane Roar for many years. He also went and played in South Korea for a bit. Good A-League player, one of our best players here as well. Luke Pilkington, standard backup, was playing in NPL and had a very good average rating at Dang Dong, played at Bentley Greens, was a Melbourne City youth project, Melbourne Victory youth project, never grew. Yet again, good determination, decent work rate, can play a few natural positions, can play centre-back, can play left-back, can play left mid. So just come in, 3rd choice, bit of depth. He was happy to do that. Jair was someone I actually signed as a 1st choice option. He is now grown into or declined into maybe 3rd choice option. Does, however, though, in pre-season, you can tell he's played at the A-League level before. Someone that has been in and around a lot of Brazilian clubs, South Korea, but obviously played in the A-League last year at Central Coast and Newcastle the year before. You can tell he's been at a higher level previously, the 32-year-old. Just some of the runs he makes from playing as a winger. I was going to play him up front as an advanced forward. He plays well there too. But as a winger, some of the runs he makes from deep are just sensational. He gets in the box, right areas, knows how to finish. From what you've seen in pre-season, I'm very excited to actually use this guy. I think I could get a better return out of him as an impact sub or starting in games where we need him to than what Central Coast got last year when they finished second to bottom. So hopefully we'll be okay. Mark Milligan as well. In real life, Mark Milligan is actually a designated player for Mcarthur, one of the 5 players that they've signed. I wanted to get him in for that reason there. So also when I was getting Mark Milligan in, I was desperately looking to probably play 4-3-3. Team's definitely morphed into 4-4-2 now. I've signed him. He's our captain. He's on big wage as well. He's on the max I can probably pay a player at the moment as well. Unfortunately for me, he's kind of declined into a player that I don't think I really want to use. He's going to be here for the next 2 years as well. So the goal is to play him for a year and then hopefully ship him off next year. I don't even care if I get like 10k for him. Just get his wage off. He's, however, a player in real life that would be really good for them. In real life, he should be, not natural but accomplished at centre back. He's played a few times for Australia at centre back. He's played in real life at centre back, and I think Mcarthur are going to use him as a centre back too. Obviously, provides very good experience. Is our club captain. Won't be starting today, but is what is. Ben Garuccio is actually an Adelaide boy. It should say he's born in Adelaide. Yep, there we go. Went to school not too far away from my school as well. One of my best friends are cousins with the Garuccios and cousins with Ben. As well. I've never met Ben personally, but I always thought he was decent at Adelaide United, someone that could bomb on, someone that could do very well. He is pretty good as a winger, a wing back, obviously, but I honestly think as a winger on attack, in the A-League, he's got the physical, he's got the flair, and has got decent crossing abilities. Also a free kick taker and be one of our best players. He only wanted to be a squad player, which was interesting, so I signed him on that. At 2.7k, though, is a bit big for that. Jaden Burgess, under 19 player, one of those regens that come in, but Mcarthur could be probably our best player. At Braga, was transfer listed for 110k. Midfielder, reason Mark Milligan isn't playing because this kid at 23 looks sensational, could grow into being one of the best A-League players around. He's just that next level above. He has got 19 determination, great physicals, great passing, great vision for the league. He's only going to ever grow. Unfortunately, he's already been capped by Congo because this is the sort of player that you're looking to bring in, be in Australia for 4 years, get yourself your Australian citizenship, and then obviously sign to play for Australia, but unfortunately not. Braden's come in as the 3rd choice, 4th choice sort of striker. Just very good at what he does. Got decent physicals, decent finishing, got a little bit of potential, decent off the ball. Was scoring goals for Jaffers, which is an NPL club around in New South Wales, in Sydney. It's been at Melbourne City and that as well. Has played in the A-League before, only a handful of games. As someone that's got a little bit of potential. He's worth 300k, so yet again, someone I've signed on a free, and definitely someone I may look to sell on in the future as well for the money. Our biggest signing, I think personally, and our best signing is Dominic Becker. Was listed, the German, for 43k from a German club called Werder Bremen. For people that don't know, was that Cologne too? Was that Werder Bremen? Played in the reserves in their 2nd division side as well. 100% wanted to come and be a star player, but only on £600 a week because he's under 22. I don't have to pay him the full, or a minimum wage of 625, which is great. Physically a monster. In terms of physicals, not his height, but great determination, decent on the ball too. He's not the worst. Also, I don't think he'll ever play for Germany. Somebody that when his 4 years are up, I would 100% look to call up to play for Australia in the 2026 World Cup. Hands down, probably my best signing. Very cheap signing. He's only going to grow. He has a release fee as well of about $1 million, close to that. Yeah, $1 million on the dot. Very good signing. Jung comes in from the Maconi Stallions. They are actually an affiliate with Dortmund. I don't need to say anything else. A hot prospect. I picked him up. Our youth intake wasn't great. I went for Australia, scouted the whole wide world of Australia. This guy came. I didn't even get a scout report on him. This guy just had 15 determination, 12 finishing, and decent physicals and decent mentals. I was like, yeah. Before Dortmund get in on you, mate, you're coming to me. We've brought him in. He'll be on the bench for a lot of the games. I honestly think he's going to be really good. And Jung Swang Han is going to be a player that I think we're going to be able to see a lot of. A lot of these players we signed in for 2.7k as well, which is compensation fee, which is fine. Darren, we have to speak about Darren when we get to the tactics screen. Darren, obviously, is going to be a player that is, going to play for the youth team. He's got a little bit of potential, but Darren may be starting today, boys. That's all I'm going to say. Mcarthur, yet again, not great. I just saw determination physicals took a punt. Not great. He'll play in the youth team. Release him. Matt Taylor has a little bit of potential. Good determination, decent flair. Can play in the hole if he ever play 4-2-3-1. Maybe something that might grow into a player. Physically okay. Yet again, didn't have a scout report. Looked like one of the best youth intake players around, so I decided to call him up. Same with Gordon, yet again, decent dribbling, finishing first touch, decent determination, picked him up. Wasn't the greatest. Is actually wanted at the moment by loan by the academy, which is the Canberra Academy, which didn't produce anyone this year. Usually they're like the centre of excellence of old in like FM16. They would produce some decent regens. Now it's into the big boys. I'm going to leave these two to last because they're our big boys up top. But Brad Norton was someone that was playing at South Melbourne, had a really good time of it in the year that we signed him on a free. He then played 10 games for this year before joining us because his contract was up. Someone that you will see probably play left back. A very good player for the level. I'm surprised he hasn't played at A-League, an A-League club for a lot longer than what he used to. He was an Adelaide United signing back in the day as well. Many years ago was Brad Norton. I think he's a very good fullback. Yet again, fits the build of someone that's decently physical and has good work rate and good determination. Can also whip a ball in. Don't know whether to play him at left wing or at left back. Same with Ben Garuccio. For now, I'm going to go with him at left back and Garuccio at left wing. For now, gets forward from a left back, can cross the ball. I think he's going to be really, really good. Our last two signings are Icopio Sinorgi from Italy, an Italian that was playing in and around Serie C, Serie B, has a youth prospect at Milan, someone that hasn't scored goals but has I think is just all-rounded goodness. Going to be playing as an advanced forward as well. Someone that's got great finishing. Mentally, 10s are really good for the level of the A-League. I haven't changed what our skin looks like because obviously I've got Australian duty to think about too, and I prefer to have those higher stats when I'm picking squads for Australia. So I haven't changed it, but 10s are not bad, around the level. He's a big boy at 193 centimetres, someone that's going to be able to hold up play, flicking other people around him, someone that's also going to be able to get forward, and someone that should naturally finish chances with 15 finishing. It would be nice to get his composure up as well. I'm training his physicals. If we can get that pace to 12 before he turns 26, probably his last year worth of growth is right now as well, would be a really good player. Someone that I think for the level would be quite decent, but lucky Lars, Gustavo is our key player here. Naturally a winger. If we played 4-3, sure, would play him there, but we're not. At the moment, as an advanced forward, is a different striker to Icopio Sinorgi. Gustavo there is a player that's got a bit more speed about him, great determination, decent finishing and composure, is someone that's going to be able to run at a man, someone that's going to be able to go at a man, and somebody that is going to be able to just provide that little bit of brilliance. If we go in a 4-3-3, would definitely be my starting winger. Could probably be a better winger than what we've got at right mid at the moment as well. He's the same level as Cameron Watson, who is going to be on the bench, and Deganzic I will give game to because I know Deganzic is a bit more of a winger. In terms of the system here, it is a 4-4-2. It's similar to the Mets 4-4-2, just not as much going on. Playing out. We're not looking for the overlaps per se. We don't have those fullbacks like we did at Mess, where they're just absolutely brilliant on the ball, going to bob on, going to beat a player, whatever. So if it's on, play. If it's not, don't really care. Work the ball into the box still because we've got good players in and around the area. And I've turned on play for set pieces because it's Australia. I think it's important. I'm still looking to play out, which may be dangerous because the level of centre-back in Australia isn't the highest and playing out isn't the best in Australia. I mean, I've seen a couple mistakes from centre-back and goalkeeper in pre-season. However, I am playing quite a high line and etc., which maybe with the lack of speed at centre-back isn't bad, but I'm not preventing short distribution. I'm kind of saying to teams, you can play it to your centre-back because I know the level of centre-back in Australia ain't great, and then I'll press you. I think that's something that I've changed. I've seen a couple of highlights in pre-season where we have won the ball when they played at the centre-back's made a mistake or the pass has not been great. I'm hoping that happens in the A-League as well. That's what your team looks like. It isn't your full-strength team, but we do have some things to talk about here as well. Testoni's on international duty for the Asian Cup. He's not here. Gaius is on international duty with Congo. He'll be back soon. And Valapi, because he's an international for Zimbabwe, is on international duty too. The scheduling has kind of left us in a position where we're in trouble. We have got Melbourne Victory here, and we may also be missing players as well for that game there. A couple under 19s, so that's fine. With that in mind, I have to have two under 22s on the bench. We have Rossi, we have Huang as well, and you do see Maloney makes the bench, and I think just Dan's the better goalkeeper here. So Dan's coming in. Hopefully he'll be okay. And against Melbourne Victory, who are predicted to do very well in the A-League this year, I think we could be in trouble. In terms of season preview, none of our players make the starting team here, but at least Gustavo's actually made the key players. If we had to scroll all the way down to the bottom to see Icopio as well get in there, we didn't really have anyone in that list. We're predicted to finish second to bottom, was bottom for a long time, but they think that our signings have probably been a bit better than Central Coast. If you go and tick this off here, though, we don't look like we're going to be the best team around. Melbourne Victory, predicted to finish 5th, is in the ACL. City and Sydney obviously will be really strong as well. I'm very surprised Perth Glory is only in 6th because they're having a really good year in real life as well. In the end, though, we've got a few boys out. We've actually got a few boys out for Melbourne Victory as well. And I'm going to bring my webcam back on. It's been 25 minutes of me just speaking about the squad. It's been a long grind. It's been 2 years of grinding. And we got ourselves a team. It is going to be Dan in goals. I think his first name's Dan, isn't it? Yeah, Darren. Darren in goals. South, DeVille, Becker, and Norton. I don't think either one of these guys are left-footed. I think Becker's a bit more better, can deal with it. Norton at left back, Garuccio, McKay. Chris is coming in because obviously we are missing in Gaius, and so Chris I think can do a job. Cameron Watson can play in there naturally as well and is pretty decent too. We got Diogo Ferreira, who I think I'm going to drop Diogo for Constant. Konstantopoulos can make his way to the bench. Milicu can play centre back if I need him to, and Ferreira and Watson can play right back. So Diogo misses out today. Dugans is playing as winger. Could play Cameron Watson, won't. Could play Jer out wide, won't. Sonogi and Gustavo up top. I just think this team fits us the best. Jer's a decent option off the bench. Rossi has the speed if I need to. If it's not happening up top, I've got Sung Hung Wan, our youth prospect as well. Jer as well can play up there. Nathan probably, if Chris isn't having the best of the day, Nathan can go into that role too. And we've got a back four that's okay. Look, it's not our strongest team. Obviously, people need to be given numbers here. 31-30 and 20 for Norton. I'm going to give him a 25. It's already to Pilkington. Oh, yeah, he can wear the 20. I'm just playing fullback. Would like to have him a 5 in his name. Obviously, this has been a long episode. We're going to get into this game against Melbourne Victory. The board vision. Forgot to show you. It's the finished bottom. I'll quickly show you before I forget. Club vision. Finished bottom. And develop people for the youth system. We'll be doing that because we have got a couple of guys that we signed at 16 that are youth candidates still. Signing people on youth contracts counters towards a youth system. So they're going to be playing. Hopefully they like that. And the finished bottom of the A-League, look, so be it. I think we will. Our contract ends at the end of the year. I would imagine we're going to get a new contract because it's going to be very hard to not finish bottom in the A-League as well. I do think we're going to be okay. I don't think we're going to finish bottom. My goal is to not make the finals, but kind of be competitive enough to be in the talk for the finals. If I finish 8th, finish 7th, be really happy with that. We are going to go out there, give the boys a good talk as well. We are going to go out there and press, and we are doing that. We're also going to go and man-mark both centre-backs and see what we can do. Anyway, into the tunnel we go. And a special day, obviously. He's been working hard in pre-season, sure. Hopefully Darren can play well in goals. We are on the 2D here as well, and hopefully we'll be okay. Anyway, Dan on the ball goes long, and that's not what I want to see. I've also seen that, even though we're on play out from the back, a lot of times they just look long, keepers, and I don't know why. Marcus Rojas is obviously a great player, and he goes for goal, and there we go. It's fine, and we are 0-0 still. I expect Melbourne to really dominate us. I'm literally playing on the break. It's what I did against Sydney FC in pre-season. We scored very late and got a 1-1 draw. And this is where I expect us to be decent. Incopio, Gustavo, can he unleash him? He does. He's quick. He's good enough to beat a man. We've got numbers coming back stick for him as well. Oh my, player across the box. He's actually gone for goal. And in the end, Thomas has made a save. Gustavo, if he whips that one towards the back stick, we do have Ben Garuccio making a big run at the back stick too. Didn't do it though. I wish he did. Anyway, that's kind of how we're playing this year. On the break and looking and hoping to get some set pieces as well and just be solid. And yeah, away in Melbourne obviously is going to be very difficult. I would imagine we're at AAMI Park in real life, but at the Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. It is AAMI Park, isn't it, that I'm thinking of in Melbourne. Anyway, it is Darren on the ball. I just need you to be solid, Darren. No mistakes. I'll be happy with that. Sonogi's a big boy. Can he win it? Doesn't. Does fall to us to McKay. Sonogi's in here. Big chance. Is it? He got... Oh, no. Gustavo's missed a clear-cut one. That's what we have Sonogi for. Incopio knows how to play other people in. And Gustavo misses the open goal. Thomas was out of position, and it should have been 1-0. Mcarthur could have been our first goal ever in competitive football to Gustavo. It's a free kick. It's Chris. His ball in. It's hit the bar. I don't think he's meant to go for goal there, but it's gone for everyone. No one got on it, and it's beat the keeper and it's hit the bar. I tell you what, even though we're playing on the break, not the worst start from us. 0-0 at the moment. Would take a 0-0 draw. Not going to lie. I'm going to tell them I'm pleased with that because, to be honest, against a team that's very well established, one of the best teams in Australia, Melbourne Victory, we started right. They're real on it. Looks to put it in the box. Don't know why he's not played it out to, I would imagine it's Chris here. And Toven on the break has beaten a couple and he's still going. Big run from him. Beats another. In the end, Darren makes a great save to keep it at 1-1. You would say Melbourne victory have had the better of this game, but we have broken regularly and that's all that matters. Robbie Cruz, who I keep leaving out, the Australia squad gets on it, finds Paulson. His ball looking for the guy that takes the corner, isn't going to find him, and we weather that storm there. Highlight again. South throws into Deganzic. Back in the South, into Chris. Chris now finds Gustavo, holds it up, but his ball is poor. Toven picks it up, runs at a man. Hope is decently quick. He's got numbers out wide as well, and he does find Robbie Cruz. Probably their danger man. His ball in is blocked. Falls to Paulson. His ball looks for Marcus Rojas. We'll get on it. Numbers queuing. Good ball in. Hope heads just wide. And in the end, still 0-0. In terms of changes to make, we've got some options on the bench. Will we do it though? Garuccio's ball in blocked. Finds Hope. Don't think the midfield's really having the best of the game out there. In the end though, Norton wins about Becker. Good ball into McKay. Great ball to Ben Garuccio. Big chance. Cuts it. Gustavo straight at the keeper. Gustavo's had 3 or 4 key moments. Gustavo on a different day could have had at least 2. And it still is 0-0. On the break, we've been good. And the ball in from Chris is not the best at all. He's decent on a dead ball, but not having it. Anyway, 57 minutes play. Gustavo's missed a few big chances. I'm very tempted to get him on. He's a young kid. He's decent. Get the youngster on. The 16-year-old is up there. He's got good finishing ability. Get Yong Swang Hwan, who's also South Korean, but I've told him to declare for Australia, and he has, on the park. Ben Garuccio also not having his best of game as well. There's a highlight here, but I'm going to bring Jer on as a winger. Could bring Rossi in as well, but I think Jer is just going to have that little bit more technical ability about him as well. Rossi's got the bit more speed. Maybe on my last change, maybe moving Jer up top as well, and then bringing in Rossi for some speed out wide. It also made it also depend if Newman was a good result. He might go a bit more defensive. Maybe get in Cameron Watson in at centre mid over Chris as well, because he's a bit more of a defensive option in the middle of the park. Anyway, Varga on the run. Good ball out there to Robbie Cruz. Ben Garuccio tries to get across, doesn't. Broxham now on the overlap. Could get a ball in, can Lee. Broxham doesn't. Robbie Cruz back into Paulson. Moving it around very well here. It's a good ball out to Varga. Can we get across? We don't. Varga's there. Cuts it. Hope. Heads over. Melbourne really should have had a goal. We should have had it too, but hasn't happened yet. Time ticking away here. Not long left to go. De Gea is not having his best of game out there as well, but I think he could get us a goal. Chris, on the other hand, not having his best of game. I'm going to get him off. I'm going to bring in Cameron Watson and just get him in as a central midfielder and defend. Just want him to sit in, just hold, not go too far forward, really help us set up shop here, and maybe we can do a job. They're down to 10, are they? No, they had a sub. Boo. Late drama, though. Darren goes long. It's a good kick. Finds Deganzic. Lays it back to Dever. Can he release someone? South. Oh, I'll tell you what, the run's on. Oh, he should have played it out wide there to Deganzic. In the end, it doesn't come to him. And there we go. Look, Deganzic was in for a moment. Really should have been from South over the top into him. Lee Broxham's creating big width out here, and he runs at people. Norton stands him up. In the end, it's well kept. Hope. Ball out. Norton heads. McKay gets on it. Norton now. Can he find a ball? Becker looks and chips it to Sonogi. Good held up play from him. His big ball out wide. Doesn't really find anybody. And Traore now is very quick. Adama Traore. Not the one you're thinking of, obviously. And yeah, there's a good ball to Hope. Darren, make a big save. He doesn't. And in the 89th minute, we do concede to go in at 1-0 down. We've been very solid till then. I'm going to move Jer out wide as well as a winger. I'm going to move us a slightly more direct as well. Be a bit more wider. And we are going to look to distribute a bit more quickly. Maybe look over the top into the two up top. And we are going to prevent short distribution here very quickly as well. And maybe get wing-backs on attack to just bomb on and really try and find something late doors. Does hurt that. You know, we had moments in this game. We really should have scored a goal. In the end, Melbourne have probably value for their lead. Adama Traore picks it up. Finds Paulson as Basher gives it to him. It's a good ball and a Hope. He's had a pretty decent game as Josh Hope. Outpaces the defence, and Darren isn't going to save that. It's a great finish. I can't fault Darren at the moment. I'm going to tell the boys to push forward here late doors. It's a corner. Probably means it could be 2-0 here for City. It's blocked. It's cleared. I tell you what, get on the ball. Oh, the highlight, really? Time ticks. Is there late drama? There isn't. We're going to lose our first ever competitive game. Melbourne definitely were the better side on the day. But we had chances, you know. We had Gustavo, who isn't your natural finisher, but in the right areas, really could have got a goal, didn't. In the end, we are going to lose 1-0. Can't fault any of the boys. I thought it was solid on the day. Away from home, in Melbourne, kept it competitive. That's all I asked for, really. And yeah, hopefully it'll be all right. I do have an offer accepted for this guy, for Connor Simon, as a backup keeper. He's at Dortmund. I think he could be really good. And if I've called him up to the Australian squad. If I don't call him up, he would be an option for me to use. Be interesting to see if I've got the wage available and that. That depends in if I can register him. But yeah, obviously, not the greatest from us. We don't win on the opening day. Took a lot of positives. Probably the right thing outcome as well. Don't think it wasn't great, but I won't be wrong about his performances. Obviously, he made a good debut, the backup keeper. Mcarthurs had a solid game as well. I thought he was pretty good. And obviously, Josh Hope, who did do us in, isn't the quickest, but does show that 10 speed's good enough in the A-League. And yeah, we do lose 1-0. If you did enjoy this longer episode, obviously we've gone through the squad and really had a chat. Please put your comments down below. Like and subscribe, of course, as well. Do you think the squad's good enough to not finish bottom? That's probably the first goal. I think we've got a good enough squad to finish anywhere from 7th to 11th, really. Maybe even bottom as well, but we'll see. Can we keep competitive? Hopefully we can. And who just knows? Maybe with a good string of results, we could find ourselves fighting maybe for 6th. Like, subscribe, as always, links down below. Come watch us live as well. I will recap, obviously, Australia Duty 2 next episode. It will be another Mcarthur episode that won't be as long next time. From Damon and everybody else here, I'll see you then. Thank you and goodbye.